Hi there, welcome to Backyard Bonsai and Blooms. Today we're going to look at this portulacaria afra lilliput. And this is a tree that I've had kind of growing in this style for a few years. I think it's been in this pot for a couple years at least. And it's about due for a repot. I think I want to get a little bit bigger pot just to continue the size development. I don't want this tree to get huge, but I think it would look cool if it was just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to increase the size of the pot, look at the roots, make sure everything's good, and then we'll also give it a maintenance prune. Actually, we may do that first, just to reduce some of the weight on top of the tree. That way it'll be easier to repot. So let's go ahead and do that first. Let's give it a little prune on top. And this one's kind of shaped the way I want it. So it's just going to be a like I said, maintenance prune just to take some of these shoots back and really continue that nice ramification that it's got, like nice dense foliage pads. And then the first step, like I do in a lot of my maintenance prune videos, is I just take it back to kind of what I call the fluffy stage, just kind of a loose profile prune. And then I'll go back and go a little bit more detailed. But this first one is just to get some of these long shoots knocked back a little bit. And then kind of see what we're left with. And I like to keep up on the pruning of this tree and other ones that are a little more developed, just to keep the taper in check, because if you let some of these shoots get too long, they'll really thicken up fast on you, and then you end up having to do a major cutback just to kind of redo your taper. Just taking a look here. I think I can take these back a little shorter, because I'm trying to develop, if you've watched my videos for a while, you've seen this tree a few times. I'm trying to, as it gets bigger and older, I'm trying to develop these pads. So this first one here, you can kind of see an opening through here. I'll put my hand back there. Maybe you can see it better with the lighter background, but that's kind of what I'm shooting for, is to be able to open up these pads and develop the different layers on them. I really like that. And then I could probably even, start developing one up here. And that's kind of why I want to get a little bit more height on the tree eventually, just so I can continue to refine these different layers as it goes up. So I think I'm going to I'll leave these top ones a little longer, just so I can get a little bit more height on the tree. But overall, it's pretty good. But you can tell it's getting really dense. I've got some yellow leaves here on the interior where they're just not getting sun, so the tree says I don't need those anymore, so they turn yellow and eventually fall off. But with this prune, hopefully we'll get more light on the interior. If you look at this side view here, you can see I've got more growth over there. Part of it's due to that's where the sun is most of the time, so I'll flip it around, but I don't know that I need them that long. I think I might go ahead and take some of those back just a little bit, just to balance it out a little bit, and then they'll continue to grow. These things grow so fast, which is one reason why I love portulacarias. It's a fun tree to take care of because they do grow fast. You always have something to do on them. There's even quite a few bit more yellow leaves inside here. But hopefully with the prune and getting it back out on the bench, more sun will hit those lower branches. And I think spinning it around, letting the sun hit the backside of it will definitely help. Yeah, I'm kind of liking the way that's looking there. Not sure what I got going on over here. I might need to lower or cut this branch off to keep it from dipping that low, but I think we might leave it for now. But yeah, this is developing pretty nice. I got these pads, the separation in between the different layers, like in through here, down here. It's nice. And you can see some of the branch structure up in there. And this is kind of where you get into the detail pruning. You know, you can just kind of go in and just kind of take each section back to the next internode and see what it looks like, and then keep going. All right, I don't want to spend too much time on the pruning. Today's project was mostly, main goal is to get it repotted. So, but I wanted to get some of that weight off the top, just help the repotting easier. So let's go ahead and kind of clean this off a little bit and get started on the repot. So I'm going to put this tray up here, just catch the soil, just checking to see if it's tied in, and it's not. So we'll see how loose it is. Not very loose at all. I didn't think it was going to be. Like I said, it's been in this pot for a couple years at least, maybe 3 years. And it's put on a lot of size, so I bet the roots are pretty compacted in here. So just use this tool just to go down the edge of the pot. Let's try to break some of those up, because they really attach to the side of the pot. It's starting to loosen up there. There we go. See if that's enough. There we go. Oh yeah, that's a definitely needed repotted. Holy cow. Definitely got almost like a whole carpet of roots down here. And the drainage screen. I'm gonna have to cut a little bit of that just to get that screen out of there. Not too worried about this, you know, because you're going to lose some roots, but these portulacarias recover really quick, especially in the summertime. I'm middle of July right now, and it's get this back out on the bench and it'll bounce back. So it's going to be a pretty good root prune here, but yeah, I cut quite a few off, but that's all right. We'll get it in a big pot and let it recover. All right, so there's our tree. Not too much of a root base left, so we'll definitely have to tie this guy in. So let me get the pot prepared. So here's the pot we're going to use. You can see it's upsized a little bit from the last one. Here's the one that it was in. You can see it's a little deeper, a little wider. So like this one actually fits inside of it. So It'll give it a little bit more room. And I'm going to use this screen here, and what I use is just a window screen from a hardware store. It's cheap and it works just fine, so I'll put that in there to cover the holes. Like I said, I am going to tie this tree in, so I'll put some wire up through the side holes there. And up this side, you can go ahead and, if you want to, make sure some of it goes through that drainage screen just to help hold it in place, but the soil will also hold it in place. And I think I will put a piece in the other side too, just to since this tree is a little bit unstable with the amount of roots it's got. So we'll go ahead and put a couple pieces. Get that up through there. Apologize for taking that out of the camera view. I just had to get it a little closer to me to get this one re-ran here. Okay. So I got that done, and you see I just have it out of those smaller holes. Let's go ahead and get some soil in it. Gonna test fit it to see if it's got the level of soil right, and it looks about right there. Yeah, I think that's gonna work really. Just gonna look, see if I want to off-center this at all anywhere, or just kind of keep it somewhat centered. I think I'm going to keep it pretty well centered. Yeah. And then go ahead and tighten this wire up. Let's use a pair of pliers now to finish it. Yeah, sometimes I don't always wire my trees in, but this one, especially now that I saw the roots, I had to cut some away there. And then just with the amount of foliage I have on top of it, it just makes it a little heavy. So So that's why I do this one when they're top heavy like this. I think that's going to work. Feels pretty good. Just cut off the extra wire here. And tuck it down so it doesn't poke out of the top of the soil. Didn't quite get it tight enough, but I think I'll fix that by just getting some of the soil pushed under the roots here. I'll lift this side up a little bit. There we go. That's going to work. And you've probably seen me do this before in some of my other repotting videos, but I find that just a kind of an aggressive tapping or kind of tamping down on the soil helps, just the vibration helps the soil nestle in around the roots. You can kind of feel, you know, if you're pushing down, the soil gives some, it means you're still got some work to do. But then once it really starts settling in, you know, it doesn't really give that much. And each tree is a little bit different because some roots are a little bit more open and free, where you've really got to get in there with the chopstick and, you know, settle the soil in. But some trees, the root base is a little more compact. You don't have to do as much. Put a little bit more soil in there. It may be a little bit high, but sometimes I'll do that when I repot it just to make sure I have all the roots covered up, and then once it gets established again, I'll kind of remove some. But overall, I think it looks pretty good, and I think we're just about about done with today's project here of a repot and prune. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. All right, let me give you a quick spin around. There's the front. There's the left side. There's the back. Right side. And back to the front. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.